Welcome back to Beyond the Focus, where we'll talk about clarity, purpose, and the people making the real impact. Today, I'm so excited to sit down with Kristin Knoll, Executive Director of the Covenant Healthcare Foundation based in Saginaw. And the foundation plays a vital role in supporting healthcare and really strengthening our community. And we're really honored to shine a light on Kristin's leadership and the difference that Covenant Healthcare Foundation is making right here in mid-Michigan. And Kristin, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is wonderful. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to hear about the great things that you've been doing. And, your path really started in communications.
Mm-hmm.
So as we talk about that, communications, philanthropy, and it really doesn't stop. And now you're doing community foundation and really a construction company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then eventually 15 years now at Covenant Healthcare. And what really drew you into connecting? What kind of purpose there and how have you kind of encompassed that?
Yeah. So, first of all, it's just very exciting to be in my role at Covenant Foundation. I look at foundations as a way to connect good with good. So people, who want to make a difference in the community, they might have time, talent, or treasure that they want to give, and then connecting with the needs that exist. So to me, that's kind of where that sweet spot lies, and being able to just connect people. And I think communications, my background in communications, is really all about connecting. So you try to understand both sides, make sure that people have clear communication. And a lot of times, when things come up, it's because the communication wasn't clear. So that's always kind of fascinated me. And, even growing up right here locally, I think one of my favorite classes when I was growing up in high school was our communications class. And just like seeing what a difference that can make for both the person receiving the message and then the person also giving it. So, it's really an honor to be part of Covenant Foundation.
Oh, so it just kind of fills your bucket, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really nice. Well, you've said your focus really means looking at the impact, but what are some maybe realistic expectations when it comes to painting that picture of finding win-wins? Like, can you give us a thing within even the foundation of an example of how maybe that has worked in even your personal life and professional with that communication win-win?
Yeah, so I think at the foundation, it's fairly easy. There are folks that maybe they have a passion for kids, or they have a passion for giving back to caregivers, or they have a passion for helping their coworkers at the hospital through a tough time. And so we are able to kind of connect some of the needs that exist on the one end with their passion. So it's a win-win. It's not, it's genuine, it's something that everybody wants. And I think our volunteers are a great example of it. So through the foundation, we also have about 350 volunteers that come and volunteer their time at the hospital. And some of them do everything from work the surgical desks to help communication with loved ones up to the OR, to being a cuddler in the neonatal intensive care unit. So those folks do it for different reasons. It might be because they had a grandson that was in the neonatal unit and they want to get back. It might be because as they age, they want to reach out and have a bigger social circle, so they get to engage in the community in that way. So I think that is a tangible example of like a win-win, connecting folks. In my personal life, for me, what fills my cup is just giving back to the community, and also just connecting people and like nonprofits, right? Like they're doing their thing because there's no hidden agenda, right? Yeah. They're not doing it to get anything in return. They're doing it because they want to help. And I spent about 10 years, 15 maybe, with Girls on the Run, not working, but in a volunteer capacity, and just seeing the joy that they brought to, the participants, to the coaches, and expecting nothing in return. And I just think that is one of those things that it's just a natural high, I guess you could say, for people, that it keeps them going and keeps them moving forward.
Gives you that like internal fire that then just eludes in being able to serve and uplift others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look how excited she is about this. Just her smile is so contagious. So watching the Covenant teams care for patients, it's really been a grounding experience, I think, for you. And what really perspective do you think that it's given for priorities or a sense of gratitude, and what you've really seen that delivery be?
Yeah. So, historically, I worked at a construction company, a community foundation, restaurants, those kinds of things. And we'd always say, well, it's not life or death, right? It's not life or death. Like if this little thing doesn't go our way, it's not life or death. But the reality is in a hospital, some things are life and death. And I think it really puts into perspective, um, you know, your health and the importance of it. It puts into perspective the just having somebody who cares about you and pays attention to the details and the little things. So even for patients, getting someone a warm blanket, getting them their favorite meal, sitting and holding their hand for an extra minute. I see all these things all the time at the hospital, and I'm not clinical. I never claim to be, but I have the highest respect for the people at the hospital who work bedside and take care of our patients, because it's not easy. Some patients are probably more stubborn than other, and I know a few personal family members who are that, but some are just lovely. And I think just seeing, the impact that can make. My son and my dad and lots of other family members have been patients over the years for, anything from a very serious emergency to, maybe just a planned kind of operation and things like that. And I think it just reminds you what's important, right? Yeah. So it reminds you that taking care of yourself, spending time with the people you love is so important, and being able to trust them, that the hospital is giving them high quality, safe care is huge. So I have the biggest respect for them, and I think it just reminds us all what really matters in life. So.
Yeah. Family and the people that we surround ourselves, that we're the closest with. Trust is a key factor too, right? In family and in business. What are some good tips then, even that you have with regards to, if you're saying we really need to genuinely take good care of ourselves, what are some good tips to be in a really healthy frame of environment?
Yeah. So I think, it always goes back to from just learning. I got to ask all the stupid questions when I was in communications for clarity purpose. And learning from the people that we worked with, or that I worked with over the years, the experts, so to speak. And then even I've worked locally with Sarah Fector, the health coach. And I think just taking in all that information, the priority of eating healthy, food, fueling your body is very important. Getting your sleep, for those of us who might be night owls by nature and want to cut corners, getting your sleep is incredibly important. Our sleep center folks would want me to share that. Making sure that you exercise, and it doesn't have to be, going out and doing 1,000 burpees and running stairs. It can be going for a walk. Yeah. So that's, one of those things that I think people miss. Spending time in nature, just for your mental clarity, because your mental health is important too. And then drinking water, which I admittedly am very bad at, but drinking water is important. So I think just those 5 things, we try to complicate it and make it difficult, but those 3 things or 5 things. And then, just obviously I have to say your screenings, like your mammograms, your colorectal screenings, all the normal blood work, having a family, a primary care physician that you trust and that you get along well with, and that you would you look forward to going to see every year. I think those preventative type things are really important, and can make it all the better if you do have something, serious that you're dealing with. It can help you, kind of withstand that for the remainder of your time. So.
And it's kind of that keeping balance, right? So you kind of talk about these 5 areas that people can keep balance, and one are, you might be able to be okay if one kind of is borderline, but after a while you're gonna start seeing it affecting other areas of your life. So it's really good. Every day is a new morning, I say, to wake up and start fresh again. Hey, here's our goals, and this is what we should be working on.
Yeah, I love that perspective. Yeah, messed up yesterday, start over today.
It's a new day. Well, you're almost a year into leading the Covenant Healthcare Foundation now. And tell us about the shift. How has it changed your role and your impact in what you're doing previously?
Yeah, so I was in marketing communications for about 15 years, which I loved. Do not get me wrong. I loved being able to brag about everybody and tell people about how amazing our teams are, and just getting to meet everyone, and like I said, ask those questions and be curious. And I think that for me, that shift back to the nonprofit side and the foundation side has really been nice because I get to get out in the community, which is what I love. And I still get to brag about everybody and talk about the good work that they do, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
And so I think, like showing people what we have as an asset in our community. I think sometimes we take for granted that we can drive 15 minutes and have a really amazing ER, a really amazing birth center, a regional pediatric ICU. Those things aren't, like what I found, are not necessarily the norm everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So Covenant has a lot of the onlys north of Flint. So if you're living up towards Alpena or some of those places, like it's an hour and a half drive to come to Covenant.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we tend to take that for granted. But I get to still brag on everyone. I get to, talk about the good things that we do, and I get to just meet amazing people, whether they're our volunteers, or, our folks that are in the gift shops, or people who are just coming in, grateful patients. It's really, really amazing. Yeah.
And the facility is great. I mean, we had all 3 of our children at Covenant. 2 of the 3 had to go into the NICU briefly. Blessings. Thankful to God, everything was great, but we're so happy to have that setting right there. Mm-hmm. And then answers in a time that you're pretty nervous and unsure, and everything was right there.
I always joke, nobody packs their bag to go to the hospital. It's not like they're going to the water park and they're so excited. Yeah. Like, let's pack our bags and go. It's not usually like that unless you're going to have a baby. But there's always a bit of trepidation and nervousness. Yeah. And I think having those people here who, by the way, also live in our community, right? Like, yes, they're people who work there, but they also are part of our community. I think it's just amazing.
Yeah. It kind of blends it all well together. Mm-hmm. Well, you described the foundation's role as really connecting good with good, right? And giving and it really kind of filling your bucket. But what does it look like in practice? So day to day, what are some ins and outs that you're seeing throughout the foundation?
Yeah. So, we'll get phone calls from people who just say, I'd love to give back to the hospital because they did X, Y, or Z for our family. And giving them options, right? So here are some options. Like, what one of these things sounds good to you? I mentioned that time, talent, treasure. We have people who, as mentioned, volunteer. Mm-hmm. There are people who know that they want to give money through, maybe it's a estate plan or some other way, and they know they want to give back. They just don't know exactly what they want it to go to or how they want it to be used. So working with them on what, feels right for them. And then there are times that it's, things. So even when my son was in the hospital, he got a blanket and a stuffed animal. And those are things that our community has made possible, that they wanted to give back so that that he had that opportunity to have comfort, in a time that was kind of ... So I think it could be any one of those things. It could be more than that. Sometimes we get calls and someone's like, hey, I have this ... What can I do? So we get to make phone calls around the hospital and say, hey, do you have a need for this? What would best serve you? And really just kind of have that back and forth dialogue. There's times, for example, like the Mary Free Bed at Covenant Building, that was the foundation helped make that possible by connecting donations from the community. And just having those conversations and now seeing that world-class building. I don't know if you've ever been in it, but it's beautiful. It's inspiring. It's light. It's got beautiful garden in the back. There's like a rooftop patio, living garden in the back. And I think just working through to kind of envision what could be possible, even when nothing's there, is really cool.
And it just kind of almost then too, it's nice as it sounds like there's a lot of options. So any of the listeners or viewers, if they're wondering, hey, I wonder if this could work, and they have an idea and a goal or a mission or a purpose in mind, it doesn't have to just fit into 3 or 4 different items. You have a lot of different opportunities. And how great to, whether it's Mary Free Bread or the blanket and stuffed animal they gave your son, just to kind of bring a little bit of that home comfort and trust into the hospital setting is great.
Yeah, that's
wonderful. Well, beyond the foundation role, then if you're involved in the YMCA of Saginaw, Junior League and other boards, what drives you to just keep investing in the community outside of work, participating in these other outside functions?
Yeah. So I think one of my, maybe it's a pet peeve, is when people say like, well, why don't we have XYZ? Or why don't they do this, this, and this? And I say, well, what have you done to make that change? So I think that, being involved, we can't do it all, right? A wise friend told me that you can have it all, you just can't have it all at once. So I think that if we can be mindful on what gifts we are able to give at the certain season of life, and accepting, that's good enough. You can pick and choose, where you want your area of impact to be. And so for me, I think just remaining involved in the community. I might not be, the person who's going to lead the construction team to, have the big renovation. But I can help you distill your message down and get the word out. Or I can help ask questions to maybe make whatever the YMCA is working on better for next year. So I think just lending our gifts that we have to the community is a great way to just be part of our community, whatever that is, whatever that looks like.
Takes a village for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I am not all things to all people. And I think it's great that we all have different strengths and we can lend them to each other.
What have you felt has been the biggest kind of instrument within the YMCA for you?
Oh, I think that one. So I had a really great mentor who called me up during COVID. And, so at the time I was in charge of PR communications for a hospital during a pandemic, which no one ever has life bucket list. I'm going to do this. I came from a construction company, which I loved, but, never saw that coming. And so he called me and said, hey, I think that your energy would be great on the board. I would love to have you there. And I was like, I don't know, let me think about it. I've got 2 little kids at the time, all these things. There's a pandemic happening. And so after some thought about it, I was able to join. And it's been very eye-opening to me because I didn't realize, coming from the nonprofit world, the YMCA, to me, has always been that collaborative space. They're always up to help for anything, be the hub for things. And other people think of the YMCA as just a gym, right? It's just a gym. So it was very interesting to hear those kind of 2 thoughts. And I think just seeing the impact that they can make related to health and wellness. And that they're really committed to their mission and helping serve the community, whatever that looks like in every phase, was really neat. So I'm very much enjoying it. I'm glad that they still have me there. I'm looking forward to see them continue to serve the community for a long time moving forward.
Excellent. Okay. And the red carpet event fundraiser that you've done, right? So red carpet fundraiser, what makes those special and what does it mean to be part of Covenant's mission there? And that was so fun, by the way. That event was great. It was our first year attending and participating in various things. It was a lot to put together, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a lot. So we have 2 main fundraisers, I'll say, for the foundation. The one is the red carpet events, which is deceiving because it's actually 4 different events in 2 days. So it's a lot packed in. But it's so fun. And it's kind of like a wedding. I felt you see all your favorite people in one room, but I didn't, you want to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
There's just not enough time, but it's fun just seeing the atmosphere and letting people know you're having a good time to support the hospital. That's so fun. And then our other event that we have every year is the Covenant Kids Gala. And that one is always focused on one of our pediatric service lines. So we're the neonatal unit, the pediatric unit, the birth center, anything that's kids, under 18 that we care for, it supports that. And so I think just, getting those people together who want to be part of healthcare in our community, and maybe, they're not necessarily clinicians like myself, I'm not either, but there's a way to be involved and engage. That's a win for them personally, for their business, and then also for the hospital and our patients. What a great thing.
And seeing all the support. So I know that we're coming to the Covenant Event Kids. Share with us what the support of the mission is for this time.
So that one, this year, the money is going to be going to a rec cam. So rec cam is, we bought one 15 years ago. Obviously, technology has improved and, they don't last forever. So unfortunately, so we're buying a new one. And it's really, premature infants are more predisposed to having blindness. So if it's not detected early, there are things you can do if it's detected early to prevent blindness. And this rat cam is for our ophthalmologists to use to ensure that, these little folks grow up and are able to see.
Okay.
So it's really cool. We're very excited about that. And also this year's event is focused on celebrating 50 years of the neonatal intensive care unit.
Oh,
Yeah, so 50
right.
years of that is really, really exciting. And just how, listening to Dr. Chime and his team were the ones who kind of started it back in the 70s.
Sure.
And so listening to just talk about humble and humility, like this man is in it for all the right reasons. And he just says it, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time to bring this to our community. And it's been a tremendous asset. So.
And then 50 years later, it's
and
exciting.
He's still here to celebrate with us. So that's great.
That's pretty fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To be in it, to see it, and to really feel what he's grown us into.
Yeah.
Just wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you once rappelled down the side of a building for a fundraiser, and that is really bold. So tell us about this rappelling. What happened?
Yeah, so the United Way of Saginaw wanted to do this fundraiser called Over the Edge, and they were looking for tall buildings in the area that people could rappel down. And Covenant's like, well, we have a tall building that you could rappel down. The Mackinac campus over on Mackinac to Tallahassee, we got to go right up on top here. And from a marketing perspective, there's the big Covenant logo up there. And I've never got to see that big light up sign up close. And those letters are bigger than I am. So that was really cool. But yeah, that just rappelled right down the side. We had to, raise money for United Way. And every time, I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but my kids were very small. And they came to it. They had like bounce houses and things down below so people could watch. And every time for years we'd drive by the Mackinac campus, my kids would say, Mom, is that the building you climbed down? And I'm like, yes, but please don't ever try it anywhere else. Mom was hooked up and harnessed and all that. But so don't try it at home. But it was really cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So she's an adventurer. She likes to be involved in the community.
It was pretty fun. I don't know if I could do it again, but it was. I would do it again. I take that back. I would do it again. So,
wow. Oh my goodness. And then as we turn the tables a little bit and talk about some things that inspire you in reading, share with us a little bit. I think you mentioned the book, The 5-Second Rule, and 4,000 Weeks. So what do you think about focus when you think about these books?
Yeah. So I'm admittedly for years was I'm more of a magazine reader. Like my attention span is it's here and then I move on, or if I sit too long and watch a show or do anything, I fall asleep, right? Because once you stop moving, you're done.
Yeah.
But I very much enjoy reading those self-development type books or perspective type books. And Phil Ike, actually local Saginaw resident, or Saginaw influencer, I should say, he recommended the book 4,000 Weeks. And so that was one that I picked up and I read a few months back. And truly very interesting in that it talks about how we've kind of, I don't know if been conditioned is the word, but to think of time as a resource. It's something that you have to use water or any other resource that we have. And the reality is none of us are really in control of our time as much as we want to say we are. We're all just, one life event away from, our perfectly scheduled calendar just kind of unraveling. So it really talks about focusing on the things that are a priority for you. So focus on, is it your family? Is it, we going back to, we talked earlier, your health, what are your focuses, and make sure that you, use your 4,000 weeks, the average length of a life, to focus on those priorities, and that will make your life all that more meaningful. So if you haven't read the book, I do recommend it. It was really good. He hyped it a lot, so I was I don't know, but it was really good. And then the 5-second rule, just that Mel Robbins, who we all know and love, who I believe is also from Michigan, and just that concept of okay, if you need to do something, just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it.
Yes.
I don't want to get off when my alarm goes off at 4:45 in the morning, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just get up. So just deciding what's important and making it happen.
That's right. So I have to ask, this is just one of those things, even from me reading the book, The 5 Second Rule. So are you are you more of a person that, let's say you have like a lollipop or a sucker? Are you like okay, yep, I have it for an hour, or is it like 1, 2 crunch?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say probably younger is 1, 2 crunch. I'm becoming more of a saver now. So yeah, I think people can change.
All right. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that.
people can change. I was a night owl for years, and only probably about 5 years ago it switched to being a morning person, and I sometimes don't know who I am anymore, but people can change.
Oh my goodness. What was the biggest shift for you, for listeners that are trying to maybe start their day a little bit earlier and not stay up quite so late? What was your shift there?
So mine was it's almost like if you go to bed earlier, it prepares you for the next day, right? So I was always, okay, kids go to bed, I'm going to crank out, 3 or 4 more hours of things, right? I can do all these things, and then I'll still get up early and go do my things. But I think for me, it makes nights a little more calm. You can put the things on your to-do list. They're going to be there in the morning. And then coupled with, some of the Mel Robbins advice about, you're at your sharpest in the morning, which again, I never thought was true, but it is. Your clear mind. I just think that, it does really set you up for success the next day. And you don't wake up tired and already, kind of dragging for your day. So it's
great.
a real thing.
Starting on a great, fresh, bright step then. All right. And just for fun. So I know we're making some funny jokes up here, but for your dream podcast guest, would it be, so if you're doing a podcast, would it be your mom? Would it be Mother Teresa? And then how do you think she could teach us all about like humility and purpose and drive?
Man, so you got to throw my mom in there, right? My mom is a wonderful human. She is like a saint all of her own, if I'm being completely honest. She is one of those people that can time everything perfectly. Like, that conversation that maybe you're cutting off. She's like, now's not the time, but tomorrow. Like, she can time everything just perfectly. So I can't pick between Mother Teresa and my mom. Again, both, that'd be cool.
Okay.
But Mother Teresa, I think just for me, like, I find it so amazing that she was such a humble human. She knew her purpose and her focus so well that she could give back and serve people with humility and grace. And I think one of my favorite quotes by her is that, the biggest way to change the world is to go home and love your family. And it's just that reminder that, we can't impact everything. Like, no matter what's going on in the world, we can't impact all of it. But we can impact our circle, our community, our families. So start there, and don't be overwhelmed by, that it has to be this big act of impact. It can be something small and meaningful as well.
So start at the core and just try to deliver really, really well to active listening, showing grace, which is excellent. So looking ahead, we're talking even to now more about legacy. What do you hope to leave with Covenant Healthcare, would you say, as far as a legacy? And then how do you want to deliver that to the community? Much like how we're serving people here, we talk about, okay, what are we doing every day to go to work? And then how are we looking at that in retirement? And then how are we raising our family? So now if we look on your legacy end, how would that help the community?
Well, I've never had that one asked before. Let's see. So I think for me, if I could, leave this role or have anyone ask what my impact is, I think my goal would be to make the foundation like real and like a place that is genuine that you can connect with. So it's not just, a place or somewhere where you send a check or, anything like that. It genuinely is like meaningful. And I think making sure that people on both sides, patient care side and also donor side, that they know that they're impacting people that they'll never meet, right? That they're helping make our community and people's lives better, people who they're never going to meet and they're never going to know the impact that they make, but I hope that they know that they are. So I think just, making the foundation a real thing.
Okay.
It's not just this concept
Yeah.
of, of that, but
So maybe even like the clarity and maybe transparency really helps. So if people are wanting to get more involved and listeners are wanting to be more a part of this foundation, what would be the best way for them to reach out and even to know where to start? How could they be involved? And I think too, sometimes it's just knowing like they can hear you now and see like, oh my gosh, this is a warm, friendly face. Like, I feel like I could actually be part of this or learn a little bit more, because anything new is frightening for most people.
Yes.
So what would be some of your advice of how people could connect with you in that aspect?
Yeah, so if they're interested in volunteering, our volunteer manager is amazing. She's been at Covenant longer than I have, and she's a friendly human. So I think reaching out to her, covenanthealthcare.com/volunteers, is where people can find out about our volunteer opportunities. For anyone who's interested in, kind of that, either sponsoring an event or planned giving or any of that side of things, they can reach out to us. Myself personally, honestly, it's just at our phone number or email. It's all online at covenanthealthcarefoundation.com. But I would love personal calls. I think those are sometimes better because you could hear the inflection in people's voice and talk to a real person. So I'd love a phone call or a chat, and if anyone's interested in, just figuring out what their options are.
Perfect. Well, Kristin, thanks so much for sharing all this about the foundation, some of your history. You're so actively involved in the community, which is really inspiring. And it's incredible of the work that you're doing at Covenant Healthcare through the foundation, and to just support the patients, the family, and really our community, starting with your own personal family first. So we're proud to highlight your mission. And I know that our listeners are going to be impacted, because it's really a lot about finding clarity and purpose, and really just trust throughout the community of where all the support can go, which I think is quite inspiring. So for anyone who wants to learn more, get more involved, visit it, covenanthealthcare.com / either your red carpet, which I thought was a great event to participate with, or covenanthealthcarefoundation.com. And until next time, we want you to stay focused and keep leading with purpose. Thanks for listening.